And welcome to another Cardinals Nest here on HBC TV 25. This is the show devoted to St. Mary's University and its athletic programs. I'm Dean Beckman, joined once again by my co-host Donnie Netto, the Sports Information Director for St. Mary's. And this week we are focusing on men's golf. We have Kyle Brodt with us. Kyle is a senior golfer on the men's golf team. And Kyle, welcome to the Cardinals Nest. Great to have you on. And a senior now at St. Mary's. So why don't you tell us a little bit about where you're from and how you got started playing golf?
Yeah, so I grew up in Roseville, Minnesota, Twin Cities, and golf's been a huge part of my life. Just growing up with a family very intricated with golf, we've always, been playing. My dad kind of taught me how to golf. We fortunately have a membership at Midland Hills Country Club, which is in the city, so I just grew up playing with my family a lot. My dad taught me how to play, and then I obviously got lessons through the pro there. So it was really fortunate for me just to grow up in a country club, able to play all the time. Not a lot of kids get that, so it's definitely an advantage. And then growing up, I used to do like mini leagues at golf courses with some friends around the block. So, I've been playing since I think 9 years old.
Okay.
So, I've 13 years now, so.
At what point did you get better than your dad? Or are you better than your dad? I should ask that first.
No, he's actually a pretty good player. I'd probably say age 14, 15 was probably when I started kind of get past him.
Right.
He always, he's always got that quote. He's like, every year the course is getting shorter for me and longer for Kyle, as I'm growing up, so I'm starting to hit the ball farther, and he's kind of, dwindling. But he still kicks it, he can still shoot mid-low 70s every once in a while.
Now, Donnie and I, we can attest to that's kind of a hard time in someone's life, right? When the kids start surpassing them at
Absolutely. Doesn't matter what the sport is. As soon as your kids start passing you, you know you're getting older. Kyle, talk a little bit about as you continued to age, you went to Tino Grace. I assume you played golf there. And then how did you transition to St. Mary's? What was it about St. Mary's that brought you here?
Yeah, so I played 4 years of varsity golf at Tino Grace. My coach Greg Granlin he was awesome. He was a really good coach. Made us work really hard. We'd practice every day. And then after that, as I got older, my junior, senior year, I started thinking, do I want to go to college? Obviously I did. Do I want to play golf in college? And that was definitely a big decision for me. And I decided, I did want to go to college and play golf. So come my senior year, I started kind of looking at schools and places where I could go. I looked in the MIAC, met with a couple of coaches there and talked. And then actually the St. Mary's coach reached out to me at the time. It was Matt Johnson at the time. I think 3-4 years ago, He emailed me one day, talked to my coach. My coach said, Kyle would be a great fit for St. Mary's. Before that, though, it wasn't really ever in my thought, St. Mary's, because I kind of knew, at the time, they were a team that struggled in the MIAC. So I'm like, well, I might want to go to a team, that's better in golf. But so I met with a coach. I came here, visited it, and I actually did like it pretty well. I met with two of the juniors on the team at the time, which was Connor Brandt and Blake Westerberg, and they were great guys. Meeting with Blake and Connor, they really made me kind of choose to come here. Blake, I knew he was a really good player, and being a senior when I was a freshman, he was a really big asset for me coming here. So that was definitely a big decision for me.
I think that's a good point too, right? When you're searching for colleges, you really got to make the most of your campus visits, right? You can't just pick one thinking it might be a good fit. You've got to talk to people. You're also a finance major at St. Mary's, so I would imagine you took a look at the business program too, made sure that all aligned with what you want to do in the future, right?
Yeah, actually, another person that I knew that went here with my family is my second cousin, Craig Slander. He played here a while ago, baseball. Okay. So he was actually my dad's cousin. So that was one person that I knew relatively wise at coming here, and he told me only good things about the school. Right. So that was another influence that made me come here.
Sure.
Let's talk a little bit about golf. Talk a little bit about the adjustment, first from high school to college, and then from that freshman year to now, because you have continued to improve every single year and having by far your best year this year, your senior year.
Yeah, so each year it's crazy how things change. Coming in my freshman year, I was a good golfer. I definitely I knew how to play golf. It was all in the mental aspect though. Coming in, I remember my first week actually I shot my career round, which may have actually probably been the worst thing for me because it's like I came in so hot and I set a standard so high that every time I went out I figured I had to shoot around like that. Sure. But as years progressed, I realized that golf is a hard game. It's a mental game. And that's one thing that's really changed in the 4 years of me being here is it's not necessarily the skill of how I play golf. It's more the mental game. And you can go to the MIAC, which is an incredible conference for golf, and you can go to the range and you can see how everyone hit shots and everyone's skilled. But it's really all up here, who's got that mentality to just kind of stay with it and be really mentally strong to play, 18 holes of golf every single day. So.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, so you're, one of the few seniors on the team, just a couple of seniors, just one freshman. So do you help some of the younger players with that mental part of the game and just encourage them to just go do the best they can on that given day? Because, oftentimes you're in these tournaments that are 2 days and you can have a great first day, a bad second day, or vice versa. You just got to try to make it as consistent as possible. Right,
yeah. So me and Alex are the only seniors on the team. I know Alex just joined last year, so he hasn't been involved with the team as long as I have, I guess, for the 4 years. But just kind of what I try to do is before each round, I go up to each player and be like, you know what, guys, give your best. And if and it's not a good day, it's not a good day. That's what golf is. I've had plenty of days where I've struggled and I've wanted to throw my bag in the lake and leave. And you just got to remember that everyone has tough days. So that's kind of what I try to tell the younger kids. It's hard. It's a hard game. You just gotta, keep pushing, keep trying, and eventually you're gonna have a good day every once in a while. So you just gotta have that mentality. Just gotta be really strong about believing in yourself, and each and every day, you don't know what's gonna happen. So
can you kind of walk through like a week of practice? Because I know that it's kind of like when we had cross country and we talked the same thing. It's you don't just go out and play. I mean, that's not how it works. Can you just kind of walk through what you guys do maybe in a week in terms of preparing for a tournament on the weekend?
Yeah. So usually our tournaments every weekend, Friday, Saturday, or Saturday, Sunday, and usually we have Mondays off, which is pretty nice. Kind of regroup, get homework done. But then come Tuesday, we're back at it every day after class. I usually get done with class. Fortunate for me, I don't have a lot of classes being a senior, so I can get done at like noon, get to the course around like 1 or 2, usually hit balls for between 15 and 30 minutes. If I only want to hit balls, I'll hit balls for like an hour, maybe an hour and a half, putt and chip a little bit for probably 30 minutes. But most days I usually play 9 holes at least. I like to stay in a routine of playing golf, because that's what you do in tournaments. You don't practice, you play. So I at least try to play 9 to 18 holes almost every day. It gets pretty difficult though with other teammates having classes and then the sun going down, because golf's an outdoor sport, so you got to get out there before the sun sets. So I usually try to play at least 9, 18 every day with some of my teammates, just to kind of stay with it, because I think the best practice is to play. Because on the weekends, that's all you do. So I think that's probably my best way to practice in order to get myself ready for the weekend.
I'm a great range golfer. I hit them dead straight on the range.
Right.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, tell us about some of the other players on the team and how you have seen them improve and sort of the skills that they bring to the team.
Yeah, so we only have one freshman, right? I think.
Yeah, Joe.
Joe's the only freshman. And he's done really well for us this year. And it's good to see a young guy come in and play at a level that's competitive with the rest of the MIAC. So it's good to see him come in. We got other players like Bryce and Tyler that they're sophomore, juniors. They're still maturing, but at the same time, they can throw a low round in there. And then a guy like Juan Sanchez, who used to be a really good golfer back kind of early in his day. He's kind of leveled off a bit, but he has a lot of talent. And I would not be surprised if he throws a number in really low this coming weekend at the MIAC Championships, just because he's got so much natural talent. I think, at times, golf's tough, and this past weekend he struggled a little bit, but I know that he can rebound, and he just got a new pair of shoes a couple days ago, so maybe that might be the new thing. So we'll see what he can do in store this weekend. So
you talk a lot about the mental side of golf, and not to put any extra pressure on you, but you mentioned the MIAC Championships is this weekend.
Yep.
Your last go around with the MIAC Championships. How do you make sure to keep yourself on that even keel, knowing that this will be the last time that you compete at the MIAC?
Yeah, I mean, geez, you don't really think about that coming in freshman year. You don't really think about when your last week is going to be. I only got 6 days left to college golf. We got the spring season, obviously not as impactful, not as important because we don't have that conference tournament. But being a senior, I guess. Sorry, what was the question again?
It was just how are you going to handle keeping yourself in check and making sure that you're at the top of your game with this being your last one?
Yeah, just kind of take it all in, like day by day. I know each tournament this year, it's been a little different than the past years. I think just the idea of thinking I'm a senior and this is my last time playing, it gives you a little extra energy, a little extra oomph, to play really well. So I think knowing that me kind of being the only senior playing this weekend, I kind of need to be that role model. I need to be that leader, which I have been this year, and I believe I can still do this coming weekend. We had 2 seniors last year that graduated, Brett Jackson and Hunter Rao, that, they played really well for us last year, and I was kind of the person that, tried to compete with them, but now that since they're gone, I got to take their role, and I got to be the leader of the team. So just kind of knowing that and just kind of giving it my all, that's kind of what I'm going to do.
How hard is it this weekend, because it's different than all your other tournaments? Rather than a 36-hole tournament, this one is 3 days, 54 holes. Is that an adjustment at all in terms of how you approach the weekend?
Yeah, it definitely is. It's a lot harder mentally. Physically, golf's obviously not a physically demanded sport, but just that extra day of standing out in the course, waiting for shots for 5 hours, it really takes a tear in your brain. So I think Friday morning we're going up to play a practice round, which is good. Practice rounds are awesome because you got to get to know the course. I'm pretty familiar with the course. I played it last year, obviously, at MIAC, and unfortunately played in the state tournament as a junior and senior in high school. But I think just that extra day is really difficult. So you really, really, really need to get, I think, this whole week good sleep. You got to eat well. You have to practice well, and you just got to stay mentally with it, because after 2 days, you're only 2/3 done. Every other tournament you're usually done with. So you really gotta focus each and every shot, and that's what I try to do best. I don't really try to focus on 54 holes, 5 hours a day. I try to focus on my tee shot on one the first day, my next shot, my putt. So I don't really try to think of it as a whole, as I do individual shot by shot. So I think if you keep it to that aspect, it's a lot easier.
It kind of becomes a mental marathon.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I'm going to test your memory a little bit now. What's been, in your 4 years at St. Mary's, what's been your favorite course that you played?
Ooh.
And why?
There is a lot of them. I probably would have to say probably the course we're playing this weekend. Because we I've played it so many times in the past, and I've had such great success there.
Sure.
I really like the Ridges. It's 2 different layouts, kind of a links course, kind of a woods course. It's pretty unique, so I like that.
Okay. You mentioned, and everybody pretty much knows, golf is an outdoor sport.
Right.
It's supposed to be played in nice weather. Yeah. That's what golf's all about. Now, last weekend you played up at St. John's, and you had mentioned that you were even getting flurries Saturday morning for that first round. This forecast for this weekend is not great. Is it hard to kind of trudge along when it's 40 degrees out and you've got 3 layers of clothes on and you're still trying to focus on playing a game that's supposed to be played in 80 degrees and sunny?
Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, like you mentioned Saturday, it was snowing when we got to the course, and this is not a sport you play in the snow. Being in Minnesota, you have to. But one thing that you got to do is you got to stay warm. So what our coach, he brought us hand warmers. We had gloves. We had knit hats on all weekend. It's really important to keep your hands warm. So you got a really good grip on the club. You can feel the club. If you don't have that, I mean, it's really hard to play a good round of golf. So I think the importance of keeping your hands warm, even more so than your body, is probably the most important part.
Just to kind of stray away from St. Mary's golf, I know you were busy this weekend with the St. John's Invitational, but can you talk a little bit about the Ryder Cup? I think the format of the Ryder Cup is phenomenal, and from a spectator, it's just awesome. What's your thoughts on the Ryder Cup and what happened this weekend?
Yeah, I like it. USA, they struggled, but I think my favorite event is probably the Sunday match play. I really like it. I think it definitely brings out the best in golf. I mean, the crowds that they get, it's awesome. I know 2 years ago I was here in Hazeltine, and my dad went and all my friends went. We were, I think the team wasn't able to go because we had a tournament, which I was pretty bummed about. But seeing all the people come in the galleries that they get and the types of crowds that they get, it's not like a unique golf tournament. It's pretty crazy. So I think the format that they have is awesome, and Sunday match play is definitely my favorite event.
I'm always interested in that. Golf really, you play for St. Mary's, the team, but golf is really an individual sport. And then you see something like the Ryder Cup where you actually, the team really is relying on your position. Is it different, do you think, in terms of how you approach, how you play? Because you really are playing for a team rather than individually as part of a team.
Yeah, that's definitely one thing about golf that is different than any other sport is that I can't really help my teammate play well. Like in hockey, you can get a pass from someone and score a goal. I can't swing a golf club for one of my teammates. So it definitely is an individualized sport in the aspect of you can't help your team. The only thing you kind of can do is do what you can do best, and that's really all golf is. And every day, I think there's no one else that can help me. So the only person that can help me is myself. So that's kind of my own team, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, like you said, that you can't help anyone else, because I mean I maybe see my team one player all day, like for 2 minutes, and that's on a tee box waiting. I ask him, "Oh, how you doing?" He's like, "Oh, not good." Well, I'm doing okay, so just stick in there. So there's a few words you can exchange, but really, it's all up to you, which makes it very, very hard mentally.
Do you have a favorite professional golfer?
Yeah, Tiger Woods is. Okay. He's always been. He's always been my favorite for sure.
Common answer there. Real quick before we go, I want to talk to you about your coach, Steve Randgard. Normally we would have a coach on the segment. He wasn't able to join us today. So tell us about Steve and how he's been able to help you, and then of course his assistant, Paul Peeler, as well.
Yeah, Steve's done a great job with the program last 2 years. He's really involved in recruiting. He's always talking about guys that he's trying to get. He brings a lot of recruits to St. Mary's, and we meet with them. And I think that's really important, because that's how I got here, was I met with 2 of the players, and that's kind of the main decision why I came here. He's a really good recruiter. He's a funny guy. He's always upbeat, always in a good mood. So when I see him on the course, he's always, no matter what I'm doing, he always makes me laugh, because he's just a great guy. But at the same time, he knows golf, and he expects us to do very well. He has expectations, and I think that as long as you try your best, he's going to be happy with you. Obviously, he wants you to be respectful, and he wants you to have good golf etiquette and represent your school well. So I think he just does a very overall good job of being a golf coach in the aspect of staying positive, but also being serious at the same time.
Okay, good. Well, Kyle, thanks for being on the program today. Senior finance major, what's in your future? I
don't know. I think I might
worry about that in May?
Okay. So we got a couple months. I think I might be doing an internship in the spring, so I'm graduating in May, but we'll see. But I'm focusing on this weekend in the MIAC, so hopefully.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah.
All right. That's Kyle Brodt from the men's golf team, a senior, and they are preparing for the MIAC Championships this weekend. Stay tuned. Donnie and I will be back to tell you about the women's golf team and all of the other sports going on this fall at St. Mary's. That's next here on HBC.
Schultz Strategic Gunworks, Sugarloaf Ford, and Brewski's Bar and Grill in Utica would like to remind you to make safe choices when getting behind the wheel of a vehicle.
Driving while under the influence of alcohol or drugs is the #1 cause of teen deaths. Distracted driving increases your chances to have a traffic accident. Cell phones and passengers are both distractions to a teen driver. Drowsiness impairs driving performance and reaction time, thereby increasing the likelihood of having a car accident.
Be sure to check out US Golf TV, where you are going to see golf products that you have never seen before. You're also going to see golf tips from some of the leading instructors around the country that are truly changing the way people are teaching the game and challenging the status quo. Also, you're going to see fitness tips that are revolutionizing the way PGA Tour pros are training their body and swinging the golf club. If you want something different, if you're looking for some new information, US Golf TV has it. Be sure to check your local listings. US Golf TV, we've got you covered.
In the beginning, there was dial-up. Slow as syrup dial-up. When 3 megabits arrived, it felt like riding a cyclone with your hands in the air. Until 100 megabits sent you surfing with glee on a cavernous pipeline of bits and bytes. Which brings us to 1 gig. That's 1,000 megabits per second from HBC. We're about to break the internet speed barrier. Your home deserves the fastest internet. Get gigabit internet today from HBC. Internet redefined.
Describe the best thing you ever ate.
It's good.
Woo! Dynamite. Yes.
Hashtag worth it.
Ridiculous. OMG, OMG.
Whoa, wham.
What? That's what I'm talking about.
Wait.
Boom.
All new, the best thing I ever ate. Thursday at 9.
You're gonna need sweatpants.
Cooking Channel. Stay hungry.
And we are back here on the Cardinals Nest on HBC as we look to wrap up this program here on TV 25. Donnie, we just talked to Kyle Brodt from the men's golf team, and a lot of great information there. We didn't even get to everything we wanted to get to because you have some little tidbits on Kyle that we didn't even get a chance to ask him.
I really wanted to ask Kyle. I always ask everybody what their hidden talent is, and for Kyle, it is he plays the piano. And so when we left camera, I says, "You really play the piano?" And his response, "Yeah, I play a little bit." Yeah. So I mean, it just kind of shows you that there are different sides to some of these student athletes. They're great at their craft, but they also have some abilities that are pretty impressive. And for Kyle to play the piano,
right?
That's
and I know
nice.
We have talked before. One of the things that's fun for us in doing this program is we get to know the student athletes at more than just a surface level. We really get to hear them have a conversation and ask them questions that you maybe wouldn't ask when you pass them in the hallway.
Right. And I really appreciated what Kyle said about Coach Rangard, because Steve has really done a phenomenal job so far at the 2 years he's been with the Cardinal programs, and he knows his stuff, and you can see it in some of the rounds that we're seeing, not only from the men but from the women as well. And he's working hard on the recruiting trail, and I really see the programs really making a good step in the right direction under his direction.
Yeah, and speaking of the women golfers, they had their MIAC championships this past weekend, and senior Michaela Heckendorf went out on a high note. It was great to see her in her last collegiate meet do so well.
It's interesting, and Kyle brought it up when we had him on the program. It's that this last tournament, it's kind of like it brings out the best in the seniors. He mentioned the 2 seniors last year who did really well. And Michaela, you certainly have to tip your cap to her. What an outstanding way to close out her collegiate career with a career best 83, the best score that St. Mary's had all season long. And you look at that, and you're just happy for her to end her career that way. And congratulations to her and to the Cardinals as well, as a very young team. And I think that for several of them, this was their first MIAC championships. They had to play shorthanded because one of the individuals was sick and couldn't compete after the first day, so it made it a little more difficult for them. But they've got some great experience. some talent coming back. So Coach Rangard's got a good nucleus of people coming back, and for Michaela, what a wonderful way for her to close out her collegiate career, and a great memory for her moving forward.
Yeah, she's the only senior on the squad, 3 freshmen, so definitely, as you mentioned, a very young team. Let's take a look at volleyball, Donnie. They've hit a little bit of a rough patch here, losing 3 of their last 4 matches, but they haven't been to just sort of ordinary teams, right? They have faced a really tough stretch in their schedule, easily the toughest part of the schedule, I've got to believe, this past couple of weeks.
No question. And we talk about it all the time. When you get into the MIAC and you start playing MIAC competition, every match is so important and so difficult. And you know, they went up to St. Ben's and Concordia this past weekend and lost 2 matches, but you know, played pretty well. Weren't able to get the results that they wanted, but you know, it's a long grind, and they're in the middle of their conference run right now, and so they need to regroup this week. They've got matches on Wednesday and Saturday, so or Wednesday and Friday, sorry. But they've got to, you know, rebound, and you can't dwell on the past because there's too much in the future.
Right.
One thing in the past we do want to dwell on, though, is congratulations to Brandy Blattner. Came up with her 1,000th career kill against St. Benedict on a Friday night. An outstanding honor for anybody to reach 1,000 career kills. But when you think about it, and we talk so much about Brandy, but you really need to.
You have to.
She's got 1,000 now. She now has 1,000 career kills and 1,000 career baskets in basketball, so points in basketball. So that's a pretty amazing accomplishment, and there aren't too many people in Division III that can say that they're a 1,000 career point scorer in 2 different sports, and so congratulations to her. That's an outstanding honor for her.
And she still has half the volleyball season left, and the entire senior year of her basketball.
Yeah, those numbers are going to continue to climb, and it's just a testament to what a talent she really is.
Right, a talent, but also the fact that she's been able to stay healthy, right? I mean, she really has taken care of herself and has been healthy throughout both sports, which is also difficult to say.
And you think about that, she gets about a week off between volleyball and basketball, and she's right back in the grind of a very long season in basketball, and has been able to stay healthy. So, you know, kudos to her.
One last thing with volleyball, as I look at their schedule, away. When are they home? I mean, they have not been home much.
They play their next 6 or 7 matches on the road, and then they've got 4 matches to end the regular season at home. So it's kind of crazy the way the schedule works, but with all the tournaments that they play in, to get enough matches in, most of them are on the road. They do have the Sugarloaf to open the season, but now next year it'll flip-flop, and all their home games or home matches will be early in the season, and then they'll go on the road late in the season and you know, play 4 or 5 conference matches on the road to end the season. It's just kind of a quirk in the way the schedule works.
Yeah. Let's talk women's soccer, Donnie. Real tough loss, overtime loss, 3-2 to St. Kate's, but Mara Missioner has been phenomenal this year in her senior season.
Yeah, we keep talking about seniors and coming up big, and Mara is another one of those, Winona native, who is doing outstanding, and you know, she's got 6 goals. She scored one of the goals on Saturday, and it really was a tough loss. A game that they played extremely well, and you know, just unfortunately gave up that goal in the second overtime. You know, they've proven resiliency all year in that they may fall behind, but they never get down. They continue to battle back, and they did it again against St. Kate's, and unfortunately it didn't work out their way at the end. But a phenomenal game, and you know, they've just got to keep plugging along and keep continuing to play good soccer, and hopefully the bounces will start going their way.
All right, Donnie, we got to wrap it up. Want to point out though that men's soccer, they beat Bethel, a nice road win there in the conference, 3-2 in overtime, before falling to University of Wisconsin Superior by the score of 4-3. So that's going to do it for this episode of the Cardinals Nest. We're glad that you could join us right here on HBC TV 25. We'll be back again next week. Thanks for watching.